Hello everyone, I'm just standing here having a nice chilled glass of wine. Everybody, I am so excited to be doing this today. This is the first video for Cooking with Chris. And today I'm going to do a video on low carb meatballs. And the reason I chose to do that is I've been doing this great series on the keto diet, or how to get into ketosis and lose weight with a high fat, low protein, low carb diet, that I decided to do a version of the meatballs sans the breadcrumbs. So we're not going to use breadcrumbs in this particular recipe today, but I think you're going to find these absolutely delicious. If you serve them for your family or you have them at a party, because you can do an hors d'oeuvre size of the meatballs, people are going to go nuts. I'm telling you, they always do. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through the types of ingredients and how to make the meatballs and how long to cook them. And then I'll talk a little bit about where you can find all this information. Before we get started, if you haven't done this already, please subscribe and hit the little bell so that you get reminders or notices when I upload these videos, because I will be doing a whole lot of recipes as we move forward with this new section of the channel. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to start with is 2 pounds of turkey meat and 1 pound of chicken ground. Both of those ground, both of them lean, and I'll tell you why in just a second. You're going to take those and put them in a large bowl, and you can use a fork or you can use your hands. I always use my hands, but you can use a fork and get the meats kind of mixed together so that they're sort of blended. They don't have to be completely blended, just this chunky look here that they have, okay? So it takes 3 eggs for this much meat. So then you're going to mix the eggs and the meat together, and I suggest you use your hands. It's a lot easier than using the fork, but whatever your preference is. So get that meat all mixed up really, really well, and then we're going to add a cup of Romano and Parmesan cheese. And the reason that I use Romano and Parmesan grated powdered cheese is because Parmesan is the lightest flavored cheese that is in the white Italian cheese line. So we want to add another cheese that has a little bolder flavor that won't cook out, and Romano will not do that. It'll actually flavor the meatball very, very well. So you mix that in, and then the next thing we're going to mix in is a half a cup of olive oil. So we're adding back fat into the meatballs, and the reason we're doing this with the cheese is the cheese and the oil will help bind the meatball together if you're not using breadcrumbs. So this is very important. So you want to mix the cheese and the oil and the meat together. It needs to be really squishy. And then you're going to add your seasonings, and you're going to add your Italian seasonings of basil and oregano. And then I use Lowry seasoned pepper. And then you're also going to want to use some onion powder and some garlic powder, or you can use chopped onion, finely chopped onion, and grated garlic. You can do that. I like the powders better for meatballs because they blend well, and the meatball has an even flavor. All of the ingredient list and the amounts that you need to use to make these meatballs is down below in the channel or in the video description box. So I put that in there for you. Also, the nutritional information will be down there below the recipe. And again, you can make these into medium-sized meatballs or smaller ones. And the way you do that is once you've got everything mixed together, it should be kind of mushy. If you're not using breadcrumbs, you can add more and more cheese until it'll form a ball in the palm of your hand. That's how you make them. If you're using breadcrumbs, then it takes a little bit less cheese, and you just use the breadcrumbs to thicken up the meat. But it should hold together as a ball in your palm of your hand as you roll them together between your palms to form that ball. If it's not doing that, then you're gonna have to add more cheese in this recipe or more breadcrumbs in the other version. So you make your meatballs. I make them medium size. Again, you can make them smaller for like hors d'oeuvres. And then you're gonna place them on a non-stick foil lined baking pan. Now you can do these in the skillet. Some people skillet cook them. I like them better done in the oven. The flavor again blends better. The herbs mix well through the meat and flavor the meat much better, I think, in the 350-degree oven. So you're gonna place the meatballs in the oven for 35 minutes if they're medium and smaller size. If you make larger meatballs, you're gonna need to put them in there for 45 to 50 minutes. You wanna make sure that raw chicken and raw turkey is cooked all the way through. We don't wanna make people sick with a healthy recipe, right? So use a meat thermometer is the easy way to check for that temperature to be over 165 degrees, more likely to be closer to 200, they're done. The other way is to cut them in half and make sure the middle is cooked all the way through, then you get to eat the one that you tested. So once the meatballs are done, what I do is I put them in a red tomato sauce. Now I make my own sauces, but you can also buy sauces, and I'll have a recipe for a low carb sauce since this is sort of the low carb version. But you wanna heat those meatballs in tomato sauce, in spaghetti sauce, or whatever sauce that you're using for 30 minutes. And the reason you wanna do that is that by heating them longer in the sauce, the meat that tends to be a little spongy when it's turkey and chicken tends to be a little spongier than beef. When you wanna put those, so you wanna put them in the sauce so they absorb some of that moisture from the sauce and it makes them extra delicious. So 35 to 45 to 50 minutes in the oven until they're done, 165 degree plus temperature, or cut them in half. And then 30 minutes at a minimum, you can do it longer, simmered in your favorite spaghetti sauce or Italian sauce or marinara or whatever you're doing. So you wanna do that. These things are absolutely raved about every time I make them. I get asked for this recipe all the time, and I really wanted to do a low carb version that's tasty and works for people. So please, as I always ask, subscribe, let me know how they turn out. So take a minute and check out the channel. There's a lot more to the channel than just this recipe or this segment. We have things on health and wellness, skincare, weight loss, all of that's there for you. So take a moment and go through the channel and watch some of the videos and some of the other topic areas. And I think you'll find some things that you might learn something to really, really enjoy. I really appreciate you watching. Again, comment, I answer questions if you ask them. So it's really important that you ask me questions. And share this with people who are looking for these kind of recipes. And again, what's really most important is I hear back from you on how they were. And you know what? While we're talking about it, if you've got a great low carb recipe, let's do this. If you've got a great low carb recipe that's keto friendly or even paleo friendly, if you will put it in the comment section or comment to me and let me know that you have that, I'll get a hold of you and I might feature that in one of the Cooking with Chris segments. So let's do that. Let's have some of the subscribers send in some of their stuff, and I'll put your name out and we'll talk about your recipe. How about that? So stay tuned for great things to come, and have a great rest of your week, and we'll be back with more soon.
Mm-hmm.